Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Hi everyone, I love talking about Descendants and Zombies so much because it has everything to do with how I've learned to appreciate these moments over time, because these moments only happen once for every lifetime. So because these moments only happen once for every lifetime that we have the chance to be a part of and are so appreciative of, I think we should upload videos as YouTubers that give people hope for the foreseeable future. Like right now, how everybody wants to know when Zombies 5 is coming out. What we are looking at in terms of a release window is suggesting anywhere between 2027 and 2028. I really wish I had the answers to every question that you guys had about Descendants and Zombies. Unfortunately, I'm just like each and every one of you, which is why I say I know what it's like to be each and every one of you and to be a fan of whatever you're a fan of. Many of you are fans of Descendants and Zombies, searching for the answers to the questions you've had ever since Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires dropped. We want to know what's inside of this vortex. We want to know what's coming next for Victor and Nova. We want to know what this story is going to detail, what sort of villains will pose a threat to Seabrook unlike anything we've ever seen before. If you believe in supernatural characters, you should know that the history with supernatural characters and supernatural lore is incredible. So because there's such an incredible history that goes with supernatural characters, one should believe that, if anything, they are far from running out of supernatural characters to see an introduction into the Zombies franchise. You have mermaids, you have pirates, you have witches, you even have goblins, you have unicorns that could even have something to do with the Zombies franchise. And yes, I just said unicorns because can you imagine somebody like Freya Sky riding on a unicorn in the sky after learning how to fly in Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires after having met Victor in a reoccurring dream? I say this because anything is possible with the Zombies franchise. All you got to do is believe in that future. And I know there are more people out there than ever given credit for who do believe in this future, which has given Zombies so much incentive to create into that foreseeable future, a future that I'm more than excited to be a part of because of each and every one of you. And it has everything to do with this beautiful love story that Zed and Addison were surrounded by because of the Zombies franchise and how much they believed in that love story, like many of us believed in it, because Zombies was a concept. It was a horror sci-fi musical. I think I got that right, that nobody ever really wanted to give much of a chance to. But when you fell in love with the story and its characters, you gained a greater appreciation for the music and everything else that went with it. I say this because I was always a fan of musicals, which is why it was really easy for me to get in to the Zombies franchise. Songs like This Is Gonna Be My Year, Gotta Find Out Where I Belong, Go My Own Way, Dream Come True, Show the World, Legends in the Making. Very powerful songs that were very different from songs we got from High School Musical, Camp Rock, and even the Jonas Brothers, who I was never a big fan of because the Jonas Brothers were very overrated. And I think that this cast is a cast to be very fond of and to be appreciative of because we will never see casts like this ever again. I have made the comparison to various casts over the years that I was very fond of, like the Victorious cast or the Hannah Montana cast. They were very different because they were special. They were comprised of people like Ariana Grande, Victoria Justice, Danielle Monte, who I spoke on my previous video. I say this because you had a comical reprieve, you had great storylines for every episode of Victorious individually, and you had such a bright future to be excited about when it came to Victoria Justice. And it's so nice to see people like Victoria Justice still in that informative loop, keeping her fans up to date on what she's got going on. Very different from her days on Nickelodeon, I get that. And perhaps that's why I have a greater appreciation for people like Kylie Control, having reviewed shows like Victorious, Sam and Cat and iCarly, because I was a really big fan of it. And I'm so huge on the iCarly movie being produced in 2026. They're beginning filming for that in 2026. It's going to air on Paramount Network, and I'm really excited to see what we have in store for the iCarly future. But I think that we talk about Descendants of Zombies so much because these are the first franchises of their kind that will never ever be duplicated, and history like this will never have the chance to be experienced ever again, which is why people are always holding on to the belief that this story is far from over and are refusing to believe that the story has been told and completed. And I have this to say to everybody who supports that idea. If you support that idea, I love you so much for it, man, because you guys are some of the most incredibly supportive fans of whatever concepts Disney has thrown our way over the last at least 25 years. And when it comes to Descendants of Zombies, it has gone on to achieve so much severity because of that simple fact. You guys believe in it so much. I've never cared what a critic has to say, and I shut down critics every single time because I have the biggest issues with a critic and how they feel about Meg Donnelly. When Meg Donnelly is so open, honest, and does everything with an open heart and an open mind about her struggles with anxiety and panic attacks and a fear of death, I have so much respect for her, because she should be talking about anything rather than panic attacks or a fear of death. She should be focusing on her career, but she does it because she wants you guys to know how she's feeling, about how people feel about her, how she feels about her everyday life, which is always a constant struggle. For many of you who don't know, Meg Donnelly was trying to make a name for herself on the independent music scene at the age of 11 years old. And just at 11 years old, the single Smile allowed her to become a recognized pop star, which many people don't ever have the chance to do. And ever since then, she's gained so much recognition for the Zombies franchise. She was a part of that show Teen Toon. I believe I have that right. Again, going back to how I promised you guys that I would know everything about Descendants of Zombies, I really do. And I have a greater appreciation for zombies too. So if you listen to anybody on YouTube, perhaps you should take a chance on this guy. Because if I tell you that zombies could happen as early as 2027 or even 2026, perhaps you should take time in believing that, because there are people out there that will suggest that Zombies 5 will never happen. We will never find out what's inside of this vortex. But when you really think about it, what movies have we watched over the years where they have teased something for a sequel that have never come to be? The only one of more recency because of the pandemic was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that were retold because of characters like Naomi Scott, who played the Pink Power Ranger for the first time, and I've been waiting on a sequel for that for forever. But with that being perhaps the only exception, there have been so many teasers that have been followed through with by sequels like Aladdin, Hercules. We're still waiting on ones for The Nightmare Before Christmas and what have you. Even Moana is looking for a sequel to Moana 3 after Moana 2 was so great, and Dwayne Johnson really brought that one to life. But there have been very few franchises that have seen sequels that have had teasers leading up to whatever was the inevitable. So I think that with revealment of this vortex yet to come, and us still having so many unanswered questions, I think we have more to be excited about in that foreseeable future, and I think millions of fans feel the same way that I do. The feeling is really mutual. My issue lies with how people feel about Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim's relationship, and how they didn't really want to give it much of a chance. Of course, Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim respectively have a lot going on, but even though they have a lot going on, I think we can expect to see them behind the camera moving forward, which will give them creative control of a franchise that has forever and always meant so much to their hearts. You know, I've forever and always been promoting that I would love to sit behind the camera when it comes to the Zombies franchise, because I believe I have a lot to offer to this, because you guys have deserved a dedicated director for a very long time, who appreciates Disney and its characters and all these influential moments that we felt inspired by. And if you're looking for a guy who feels inspired because of Disney and feels appreciative of every moment that I've had a chance to be a part of, from the premiere of Finding Nemo to the premiere of The Lion King back in 1994, I will never forget that premiere because I had to stand up at the back of a movie theater, which was kind of really crazy. And then years later, after I watched Nightmare on Elm Street at that same theater, it burned to the ground. I remember the premiere of Finding Nemo. I actually remember having a 19th birthday that was themed around Finding Nemo characters, because I had a greater appreciation for Finding Nemo and how characters that were animated, computer-generated, could be brought to life. And then people question why Meg Donnelly watches Bluey and SpongeBob SquarePants all the time. You know something, guys? I love SpongeBob SquarePants because SpongeBob SquarePants has been forever resilient, because he's wanted to be friends with everybody he surrounded himself with, from Squidward to Patrick to Sally. He's wanted to be friends with everybody, and he never quit on anybody. So his resiliency is what won me over with SpongeBob SquarePants. And the thing about Bluey, and why Meg Donnelly loves Bluey so much, is because Bluey is so kind. And the importance of friendship has forever been emphasized on in every single one of those episodes. If there are just 50 episodes of Bluey, every single one of these episodes have a greater appreciation for friendship. And we see this all the time in the Zombies franchise when it comes to Freya Skye and Malachi Burton. The emphasis of friendship and just how important it is, how critical it is to have 3 or 4 friends that you can keep forever in your life to help you make sense of everything going on around you has never been more apparent when it comes to Freya Skye and Malachi Burton. I really believe they have stars shining brighter in every constellation we could talk about, brighter than anybody who's ever been seen on Disney Channel or in anything having done with Disney Plus. You know, you can talk about Wizards Beyond Waverly Place and how the Descendants of Zombie Stars came out of support for this because they felt inspired by the original TV series. Many of them grew up watching it. myself included, because in 2007 I was looking for something to really uplift my spirits, and Wizards did it for me, so I can understand the appreciation. But having said that, we can talk about Wizards and how far someone like Selena Gomez and of course David Henry has come. But the thing is, Descendants of Zombies has really captivated a generation of fans unlike anything we have ever seen before, and it has everything to do with how you forever and always remain dedicated to who and what you love. And I'll emphasize on this tomorrow when I upload a new video, because I really do believe that there are so many people out there that have been touched in so many incredible ways because of Descendants of Zombies. You feel passionate about the music, the passionate about the story, these characters, the dolls, the hoodies, the sweaters, all the merch that goes with Descendants of Zombies. And I have to tell you guys this. Don't ever listen to anybody who's reviewing Descendants of Zombies merch, because it's all about how you feel about what you think when you wear the Descendants of Zombies hoodie. I would love for them to release denim jackets for Descendants of Zombies merch. Just allow me to say this, because I remember years ago when Hannah Montana had these denim jackets, and they were beautiful. If Hannah Montana had any merch at all to be proud of, forget about the posters, forget about the dolls, the electric guitar she had, because I know everything there was to know about Hannah Montana, because I was forever appreciative of everything she offered to the Disney franchise and how much she accomplished. But the denim jackets were beautiful, so it got me to thinking about how Descendants of Zombies deserve their own denim jackets, which they have not seen. They only just have hoodies and sweaters and t-shirts. If they release denim jackets, everybody will go crazy for them. People will be taking photos of themselves, throwing it up on social media, letting everybody know how passionate they felt about wearing it, and they will be beautiful. I envision beautiful jackets for Descendants of Zombies, which is something I would get done if I was an executive for Disney, because you guys deserve more merch, more far detailed merch than ever before. Allow me to say this, but even with how lackluster the merch seems to be sometimes, you guys are forever and appreciative of just having a Descendants of Zombies poster on your wall, which there is nothing wrong with. I think Disney just throws a character on a poster just to, make you fall in love with it. And they know you're going to fall in love with it because you've forever and always admired these characters. And that's why they do what they do. Disney has always had an appreciation for this kind of thing. But I think that if you invested more time and more detail into the merchandise, I think you would sell more units. I think there would be a greater appreciation to be had for Descendants of Zombies, and people would be feeling more confident, because it has everything to do with how these stupid critics feel about Descendants of Zombies, which you guys have never really cared about, right? Because the more that you never care about a critic, the further these franchises are going to be taken. Because as long as it forever and always remains popular amongst whatever the age demographics it attracts, because I don't focus on one specific age demographic, because I have some of the most gifted people ever subscribe to this YouTube channel who are very passionate about drawing their favorite Descendants characters, wanting to know when Zombies 5 and Descendants 5 is coming out. Now, between now and 2026, you guys have forever been YouTubing the Descendants 5 with Wonderland release date, because you guys don't want to take no for an answer, and you're just crazy about Descendants of Zombies, and it has everything to do with how I pay close attention to the trends and what you guys are looking for, which is why I forever and always say that you guys deserve anything but to be left in the dark when it comes to Descendants of Zombies. And with how appreciative Meg Donnelly's been of this role ever since the age of 16 years old, her first major movie, I think she deserves all the respect in the world, and doesn't deserve to have any criticism in any conversation that has anything to do with her, regardless if it's her relationship with Drake Rogers, her opinion of her friends and her co-workers. I think that she's very brave to be very open, honest with each and every one of us, and doing everything with an open heart and an open mind, and to be doing everything independently ever since 11 years old, because you can't always rely on Disney to always have your back, because they put so much pressure on your shoulders, and you're always feeling like you have to come through every single time. And that's why I really appreciated the Instagram live feeds and the TikTok videos that Meg Donnelly throws up, because she never takes an opportunity, never ceases to take an opportunity to meet each and every one of you and tell you guys how she's feeling. I remember this one video where she opened up about panic attacks, and she wanted to raise awareness to it. And she did it with so much heart and dedication, and that's where I gained so much respect for her. I always had respect for her, but I ultimately gained more for her with how she did everything with an open heart and an open mind, and she was never afraid to let you guys know how she was feeling. And you guys shared your stories with her and supported her so much, and that's where I really saw the dedication. I saw dedication at the Worlds Collide Tour, all these conventions for Descendants of Zombies where thousands of people would come out in unison. But I had never seen so much love and support from Meg Donnelly being so honest with each and every one of you, which is why she's so gifted and why she's been on shows like American Housewife as Taylor Otto and the Winchesters and everything. It's just amazing how far she's come in such a short amount of time. And, when I watch these interviews of her and Zach Zang or Good Morning America, I say to myself, didn't I hear these same 10 questions about 24 hours ago when I watched Zombies PR? Because it seems like everybody just asks the same stupid questions. I think when you do an interview, because I've done interviews for many, many years, and I think the best way of doing it is talk to somebody like you're their friend and you've been friends for your entire life, because you will get a greater appreciation of how they feel. And at some point in the interview, they're really going to tell you how they feel. They're really going to open up. Because if you do everything with an open heart and an open mind, which is why you never see anything in front of me, you gain a greater appreciation for that person by talking to them like they've been friends with you for your entire life. And that's all I've ever wanted to do. That's why I've always wanted to be a part of this franchise, to let everybody know that everything was going to be okay, everything was really going to come front and center, and everything was going to make perfect sense. That's why I really appreciated these friendships that I've seen all the time for Descendants of Zombies co-stars, because it's undeniable how Kylie Cantrell and Malia Baker, for example, feel about each other. You can't help but fall in love with it. You can't help but fall in love with how Ruby Rose Turner is always sticking her nose into Kylie Cantrell's business. Because moments like these only happen once for every lifetime. So because moments like these only happen once for every lifetime, they deserve to be cherished. So if we're going to post videos about zombies, I think what we should do, along with giving everybody hope, is give people incentive to keep on creating. Encourage them to know that they're doing a great job. And people like Freya Sky may have a long way to go. At 16 years old, I didn't know if I was coming or going. I didn't know if it was the end of the world. I didn't know if the world was going to blow up every night that I fell asleep. But that was what was so fun about, living in the 1990s, is you never know what to expect. You never knew what kind of song the Backstreet Boys were going to drop. And when you woke up in the morning and you heard it on the radio getting ready for school, you thought it was the greatest thing in the world because it was cool growing up in the 1990s. Then you think about why Kylie Cantrell felt very passionate about wanting to go back in time and live through the 1990s. Okay, so here's an idea for Descendants. Why not have Red and Chloe travel back to the 1990s? Because present-day Wonderland is being focused on in Descendants right now. They've taken the essence of time travel out of it. But with how passionate Kylie Cantrell feels about the 1990s, go back to the 1990s. Then that will open up the door for people like Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and even Howie Day from the Backstreet Boys to make appearances in the Descendants franchise. You may think that sounds really ridiculous, but with how passionate she is about the 1990s, if they can create a movie called Hot Tub Time Machine and even have a sequel, Hot Tub Time Machine 2 for God's sake, they can do the same thing for Descendants of Zombies with how passionate these stars feel about life. You just got to have a creative mind when it comes to presenting this. Focus it around, appropriate content for fans of Descendants of Zombies. I get that, but you can really go further with an imagination. You can also have all these characters coming into the franchises for either Descendants or Zombies that these stars have felt inspired by, like Stitch. Because forever and always Freya Skies wanted to work with the Stitch character, Chris Saunders. So have him be the voice of Stitch, if not that, Jonathan Clarke, because I've always advocated to be the voice of Stitch, because Ohana means family, and it was a beautiful movie. And I think that having Freya Sky work alongside Stitch is an opportunity that she's long awaited the opportunity to have and to shine because of. Again, when people suggest to you that Descendants of Zombies is reaching its conclusion, has told the story and completed it, I refuse to believe that. I've forever and always held on to how you guys are some of the smartest fans in the world. Having said that, you deserve to be appreciated. So because you deserve to be appreciated, I think your predictions, your theories, and your thoughts when it comes to Descendants of Zombies are what should matter. Instead of a board meeting that consists of probably 100 people who feel this is the direction that Descendants of Zombies goes in, or how somebody throws themselves up in the corner for a reaction video and says, I can't really make sense of this music video because in all reality what I'm not telling you is I haven't watched this music video for the first time ever in my life and I'm only recording it for the purpose of a music video. To be honest with you guys, I have watched Descendants of Zombies over 100 times. And that's why I can break down these franchises and know everything there is to know about these franchises. But even having said that, there is somebody out there that knows more than what I do. And that's why you can't find these unique and very authentic commentaries about Descendants of Zombies and how somebody really feels. The reason why they can't tell you how they feel about Descendants of Zombies is because of what I just said. They're recording a reaction video because this is the first time they're watching Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires on Disney Plus for argument's sake. And they tell you that because that's why they want to get reactions out of you. The purpose of a reaction video is to get a reaction out of you. But each time you shut them down because you believe what you believe and you've forever and always held on to that for Descendants of Zombies, then they don't get what they want. And I will forever and always be here, regardless of what becomes of these franchises, talking about Descendants of Zombies for the people who matter to this franchise, who have made Descendants of Zombies what it is today. Because this has been an incredible journey for me. It's such a huge honor to talk about stars like Donnelly in this video, Clarke in the last video I uploaded. I upload hundreds of videos about Clarke because I want her to know everything is going to be okay. And I could never have done it without each and every one of you. Because when I see tears in Clarke's eyes, I got to be honest with you guys, it really breaks my heart. Now, I know they might be doing that for the purpose of a show, too. People will forever and always say that. But this is genuine reactions that we are getting from Clarke and Malia Baker. They are natural reactions. I know people will say they are faking it. They are making us believe what they want us to believe. They want us to feel bad for them. I've heard it all. I've seen these ridiculous rumors about how Malia Baker unfollowed Clarke or Clarke unfollowed Malia Baker. I've never believed any of it. I saw a screenshot of a tweet that was thrown out about how people were questioning why these two had unfollowed each other on Instagram. Who really cares? The other day I saw a video of them and they looked like they were having the time of their life. So that's something for us to hold on to. They had the reciprocal lights turned blue. They were singing and dancing for about 30 seconds in a short video. They've really got to increase the length of these videos on TikTok because I think people want more of Clarke and Malia Baker. I got a lot of stuff to do. I got to write a script for Descendants of Zombies because of each and every one of you. Having said that, I've also got to record Descendants of Zombies videos for the rest of my life because I've got to make you guys believers out of Descendants of Zombies more than anyone has ever done before in their life because I've dedicated the rest of my life to uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies. Give me 50 million likes and 50 million subscribers and see what I can make happen for you guys because I will forever and always be here dedicated to each and every one of you, helping you make sense of Descendants of Zombies. Thank you so much, by the way, guys, for subscribing to this YouTube channel as much as what you have and making this YouTube channel a very special part of my life. It's been an honor. I hope you guys have loved this video. I'm going to go ahead and upload this video for you guys now to my YouTube channel, never knowing how many subscribers or how many views I'm going to get with each video. But all I know is I love Clarke and I love your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars so much, even Meg Donnelly, who has been very honest with each and every one of us about how she's feeling. God bless her heart. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, guys. Give me 50 million likes, 50 million subscribers. Get me in as an executive on Disney so I can make stuff happen for you guys because you guys have deserved far better reviews for Descendants of Zombies for a very long time. Thank you so much for sharing in this video with yours truly. You've been watching the latest episode of Jonathan Clarke Video Blogs. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button because your kindness really does go a long way in this world. Thank you so much for having watched this video and spending time with yours truly.